God look like me. God looks like you. God looks like your mama. God look like your auntie. God look like your uncle and your cousin and them, right? If God showed up in this form, could you accept God? Could you accept yourself? You are looking at the divine. No matter the sexual orientation, no matter the gender, no matter the color, no matter the race, you are looking at the divine. If God showed up in this form, could you accept God? But could you accept yourself?
Brandi Harvey is the dynamic host and creator of Vault and Powers Talks, a media platform built on transformative conversations that challenge, inspire, and ignite change. Through her powerful storytelling and interviews with influential figures like Ricky Smiley and Fawn Weaver, Brandi is redefining what it means to speak with purpose, using media as a catalyst for healing, legacy, and evolution. As the founder of Beyond Her and author of Breakthrough Sold Separately, Brandi champions holistic wellness for women, encouraging them to nourish their bodies, reset their lives, and embrace daily movement as an act of power. She also serves as the executive producer of an award-winning documentary, Sisters Get Well, which spotlights chronic disease in Black women and drives vital conversations on health equity. Brandi's impact has been recognized with honors such as the state of Georgia as an outstanding citizen and goodwill ambassador, 2024 Hallmark Mahogany Honoree, Modern Luxury's 2023 Social Spotlight Award, and Color Vision's 2023 Do Good Award. She has been celebrated as an I1 Digital and AT&T Dream in Black Creative Class member, a Blossom Award recipient, and one of Atlanta's top 100 women in business. Brandi has also received the White House Drum Major Service Award under President Obama and the Lifetime Achievement Award under President Biden. Holding 2 honorary doctorates, she stands as a visionary leader whose work sits at the intersection of media, wellness, and movement.
Yeah, you better. Cause you want this, I want this. Everybody in this, what should have it? Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. Yeah, you better. Take the time to recognize it. You won't leave me even if I tried it. You're the artist, I'm the mess, and happily be found the new in your hands.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Unlimited with Elisabeth Carson. Today I'm so excited. I'm so freaking honored, and I have been so looking forward to this interview with the beautiful Brandi Harvey. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
I am excited. Listen, I said I'm happy to sit on this side of the mic today. So we'll see what happens.
Yes. Well, you know what? I mean, I was digging into a little bit of research about you, Brandi, and it's like you are just such a spectacular freaking woman out here, you know, that you've done so much that I don't even know how I even start. Like, where did you start? How did you even start walking this path that you've been walking?
I mean, it's interesting. You know, I grew up in Cleveland. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, in the church. And so I think so much of the foundation of my life has been rooted in faith and rooted in the church. And so from taking that journey through college, you know, spending half my collegiate time at a HBCU at Hampton and then going, you know, and graduating from The Ohio State University, you know, I think I've just always known that I was here to teach people, to lead by example, to lead from the front. I just always knew that I was here for a higher calling. I mean, I stood up at 17 years old at Hampton University as a political science major, and they ask all the political science majors, like, what do you want to do with this? What do you want to do with your life? And I remember I'm listening to all the people get up and they kept saying like, oh, I want to be a criminal justice lawyer. Oh, I want to be an entertainment lawyer. I want to, you know, all these things. And I was like, oh, hell, I don't want to do none of that. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, what am I going to get up here and say? And I said, my name is Brandi Harvey. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I want to change the world. And I think that has just been the thing that I have been striving to do, change the world inch by inch.
Wow. Was there a point in your life where there was like a kind of like a change where you expanded more so? Because you said you grew up in the church, right? And I know you've had guests on Vault and Powers with beliefs that are different than, you know, being inside of church. So do you still follow religion heavily, or is there something that turned in your life that kind of expanded that thought process?
I mean, I feel like, I've had many lives in this lifetime, and I've been able to evolve and grow and, challenge my beliefs along the way. And yes, I believe in Christ consciousness. I believe that I am here and I follow the teachings of Christ, but have I been able to dive into other practices and religions that have shown me that, are we all saying the same thing? In a different way. But in 2014, I did this thing called the Millennial Trains Journey. And during the Millennial Trains Journey, it was like, you do this, you crowdfund $5,000 and you do this train journey for 10 days across the United States. And what made this so exciting for me is that we got to journey across the northwestern part of the United States. So we started in Portland, went to Seattle, Whitefish, Montana, Milwaukee, all, to Chicago, ended in New York over the 10 days on this beautiful vintage train car. And you had to, push a project while you were there. And the reason I got selected for this is because I chose the project Spiritual, Not Religious. Are millennials moving away from their parents' theology and forging their own path of spirituality? And in each one of those cities, I delved into a different spiritual practice. So in Portland and Seattle, I did like the grottos, which are like really big with all the Catholic Madonnas and all these Virgin Marys. And I went through that. Seattle, I think I did this Buddhist temple. Scientology, one of the largest Scientology facilities in the Midwest. I ended my journey with Queen Afua in New York, who is a sacred healer. If anybody knows, is familiar with Queen Afua. And when I got to her doorstep in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, she had to heal me because I was on that train and I had been eating like food that I wasn't typically eating. I was eating like dairy and all these things that I wasn't eating normally. And she had to heal me. And I spent the whole day with her and she brought me back to life. But on this journey, I had all these different spiritual practices. And it just let me know that I was, in a place of questioning. I was in a place of understanding. I was a place that I wanted to hear from other people because I was on a train with atheists. I was on a train with Buddhists. I was on a train with, those who practice Catholicism or Islam, all these different practices and all these different faiths. And it just let me know at the end of the day, if we treat each other the way we want to be treated, if we show up with love and kindness and compassion and empathy, then we get to experience life at a much greater, a much more beautiful experience. And so I think, have I grown up in the church, but have I challenged the church in a lot of ways in my life? Absolutely.
I love that so much. I also grew up in the church, Presbyterian Christian. So I was, I had that knowledge kind of like into me when I was younger, but growing older, I really feel like a lot of the religions are just saying the same thing in a different way, kind of,
Yeah.
and maybe there's little details here and there, but I so agree with you in that if everybody can just respect everybody else's opinion and difference of belief, then it's like the world would be so much more peaceful. It's like we get mad at each other because we want other people to believe exactly what we believe. And how boring is that?
And I mean, I get to sit across from people who are atheists. I get to sit across from people who are transgender, who practice polyamory, like all these different walks of life that in a lot of ways challenge Christian teachings, right? And but what I've learned, that God is so big, so vast. He's omnipotent, omnipresent. He's in everything, in all things. And so why would I believe that God would be so small to be boxed into one way to get to him? Why would I believe that God would be so small that only a certain amount of people who confess a certain way get to experience or see God? I truly believe that if we believe that God is omnipresent and he's in all things and everything, then every time I look at you, I'm looking at the divine. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm looking at the divine. Every time I have an encounter with anybody or any part of creation, I am looking at the divine power of God. How beautiful is that?
Yes. Woo, that gave me chills. So, Brandi, throughout your life, have you gone through massive things that have kind of like either leveled you up or held you back? I mean, I know you said you've lived many lives. I have too. So I know in my experience, everything will come crashing down. Boom, it's like on fire, but then it's like the rebuild is better. So, what about you in your life?
I mean, you've had quite the journey. I mean, you and I, when people get to see our interview on Bought and Powers, we dive into this, and of course, your platform knows that you've been an open book along the way. I think I've had many things that have changed me, that have forced me to grow up, forced me to evolve, change my way of thinking for sure. I did not have one of those childhoods where I was, I dealt with some sort of abuse, or I was neglected in ways. I did not have that. I will be totally honest and say that. That doesn't mean that your life isn't shaped and formed, right? I spent a lot of time, grappling with the fact that my father wasn't present because he was very much building his life and his career. And so that left a real void and a real absence in my life. And I spent a lot of time searching for him in ways because he was not present. And so I think that was one of those things that I finally had to kind of come to terms with, that father wound that I had. But thank God for therapy, and thank God for moving through some of those choices that we made. But I think it's been so many things along the way, from me being a high school teacher, to me being a fitness competitor, to me being an executive in a nonprofit, to writing a book, to running a lifestyle brand, to now being a host of a podcast and talk show. I think every stage has helped me grow into this version of myself. And I think I've just only tried to become better at every part of my life. Like, how do I become better? How do I make better choices with what the food I'm putting in my mouth, with what I'm feeding my brain, with the conversations that I'm having, the people that I'm around? I think it's always been all of those things that have culminated into the woman that gets to sit before you right now.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Let's dive into your book a little bit. So, what made you want to write that book?
It's interesting. 2017, I went through this. It was a disruption, right? I was the executive director of my family's foundation, and they decided that we needed to part ways. I needed to go figure some stuff out outside of the foundation. And
Mhm.
so August 23rd, 2017, I was fired from my job. And of course I knew this because I didn't quite know this, but you get fired on your day off, like Craig, like you get fired on your day off. But I get this email. My sister and brother are sitting there. They get this email too. And they're like, we would like to welcome the new executive director. And I'm like, well, hell, I thought I was the executive director. I get this email, and of course, this is 3 days after I turned 35 years old.
Mhm.
And I went through this and I was like, "Oh my God," right? The shame, the rejection, the feeling like, "Oh my God, like who gets fired from their family's business?" All of these things were running through my mind. But I talked to a friend of mine and I said, "Yeah, I got fired." And she said, "Brandi, you didn't get fired." She said, "You got released into your destiny."
Mm.
And now, Black people, we gonna find a way to make some shit, in our good, right? She said, "Brandi, you were not fired, you were released into your destiny." And I
Mm.
realized in that moment that this was the best thing that could have happened to me, because it forced me to grow up. It forced me to test my own strength. It forced me to remove and move myself out of the shadow of being under, oh, I'm the executive director of the Harvey Foundation. It forced me to do so many things, but in that forcing was a pressing. And I knew I had a book in me.
Mhm.
And I knew I had something valuable to say. I knew I had something meaningful and impactful to say and do. And so I wrote the book Breakthrough Sold separately. I came up with the title for the book. I was speaking at a retreat in Arizona that year, and I was wrestling with what I was going to talk about to this group of women. And I started in my quiet time, I started thinking about in the book of Matthew when Peter walks on water.
Mhm.
And everybody thinks it's only Jesus that walks on the water. But Peter got out of the boat. He said, Lord, if it's really you, and guys, Lord says, come, come.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so he gets out of the boat. But what makes him sink is his faith. And I'm thinking about that story as I'm preparing to do this retreat in Arizona. And I'm thinking about how everybody comes to the retreat wanting something, right? Oh, I paid all this money. I'm coming to get something. I paid all this money. They better make sure I have a breakthrough. But here's what I told the women. I said, the breakthrough is sold separately. The
Mm.
breakthrough is sold separately. I know you came with this idea that somebody was going to deliver you, that there was going to be something powerful that was going to happen to you. But I need you to understand you paid for the ticket, but the breakthrough is sold separately. There's some work you're going to have to do. There's some things you're going to have to let go of. There's some beliefs you're going to have to challenge. You're going to have to actually get out of the boat and walk on water in your life. And that was how I came up with the title of the book. It was the breakthrough is sold separately. And I know that everything about my life has not, it's been the a la carte, right? It's been the sold separately version of it. And so everything I feel like I've had to do, sometimes I've had to backdoor it. Sometimes it hasn't I didn't quite get it the first time. So I had to go around the corner a little bit, And so I just wanted people to, when they read that book, that everything that they were going to get in their life was going to require a different step and a different level of work to get it.
Beautiful. So for you in your everyday life, Brandi, are there things that you like? Do you have routines, and are you do practices that you just refuse not to go
Oh
without?
yeah. Oh yeah. I am a routine girl. So it's kind of like, my ADD be kicking in. So I have to have a routine. I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm in the gym at 7 a.m. training. I weight train Monday through Friday. I do boot camp or walk on the weekends, do some sort of cardio, do some sort of stretching extra. I do cardio in the evenings. Like I'm one of those people. So physical fitness is extremely important to me. It's more than physical. It's very spiritual. It's very mental for me. When I go in the morning to do hard things, I say I start my day off with the hard stuff, and then the rest of the stuff feels real easy after that.
Mhm.
So yes, the routine, quiet time is very important. I am very much, as a person who believes in the practice of meditation, who's gone to silent meditation retreats, all of that. And that was part of even how I shaped the book. Was I was at a silent meditation retreat. But the quiet time is so important because when I get quiet, I'm able to recharge myself. I'm able to get the download. I tell people all the time, my Wi-Fi is on, baby. Baby, I'm always getting a download. Okay. I ain't missing nothing out here. My Wi-Fi is on. And in order for it to stay on and me to stay connected, or just requires me to be quiet. And so those are
Mhm.
two things that are very important to me. So my physical fitness and then my quiet time. And then of course, I like to cook. So I cook in my kitchen. I'm one of those girls who's like a Food Network girl. So the herbs and spices, I'm
Yeah.
chopping it up, and so part of that is how I nurture my spirit, how I nurture my soul, how I'm able to show up as the best version of myself, because I
Mhm.
try to eat at home and fuel my body with the right things,
Mhm.
that make me feel good.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. I always say people need to have some sort of like morning routine to start off the rest of their day in the right type of vibration and frequency, because
Yeah,
those first moments that you're up are so detrimental for the rest of your day and the rest of your
yeah,
life. I mean, every
yeah.
morning is the beginning of the rest of your life. So how are you going to choose to spend it, you know?
That's so good. Every morning is the beginning of the rest of your life. Yeah,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. It really
It
is. And
is.
it really puts you into a vibe for the rest of the day too. When I don't have
Yeah,
my morning routine down and I'm traveling or something and I don't get to do my meditation or I miss something,
I
it's
know.
like you feel that like thing that's
Yeah,
missing. And you be like
yeah.
having an attitude and like, oh yeah.
I know
So
that's how I feel now. I'm getting ready to go out of town tomorrow, and that's how I'm like, okay, Brandy, like, let me try to plan this out really good so that I'm not missing, the
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes, that's my problem. I always miss when I travel, and then it's hard to get back in That's where I'm at
Yeah.
right now, to be honest. That's why I said I had like the holiday hangover, because I just let myself lay down like for a day for Thanksgiving. I ate and laid
Yeah. Yeah.
and I missed
And
my
that's
workout.
okay. Yeah, and that's okay because sometimes the body keeps a score, so it's gonna let us know every single time, when we're like, well, damn, I'm just sleeping the whole day. Well, the body is letting you know, wait, we need some recovery.
Yes.
We gotta repair some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know what, Brandy, speaking on that, it's like a lot of us like, I don't know, systemized to believe that we always have to be doing something to be, worthy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so for
Yeah.
me, I had to train myself to lay down for a day and not feel guilty, like, and relax for a day
Yeah.
and not feel guilty, because we've been like, I have that perfectionism thing. What about you? Are you good at like taking a break, or is it hard for you? Mhm.
Sometimes, like my sister, I have a twin sister, so she reminds me sometimes, like, girl, you don't always have to be doing shit. Like, you can like relax, Brandy. Like, you don't have to do stuff. So I have to remind myself that it's okay to just be, because sometimes I feel like, oh my God, if I didn't work out or I didn't get my steps in or like something, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I'm like, but it's okay. There's so much joy and there's so much power in the rest. And I think that that's the thing that I'm trying to learn at this stage of my life, of being okay with resting,
Yeah.
being okay. I've never been one of those, I've always been one of those people who will take a nap. So I'm never not one of them people who like, oh, I don't take naps. Oh, I take naps. So
Mhm.
so I don't have a problem in the middle of the day shutting down at 2 o'clock for 20, 30 minutes. I have
Mhm.
no problem doing that. I am one of
Mhm.
those people who are like, oh no, I need a nap. And then
Mhm.
I'm really good at like getting in the bed. Like my sister's always been a night out even since we were kids. But like me, I'd be like, she'll call me and she'll be like, I'm in the bed. I'm in the bed. I'm knocked out. It's 10:30.
Mhm.
I'm in the
Mhm.
bed.
That's so good for longevity, though. That's so good for they're finding out so much about your hormones, circadian rhythm, and when you
Yeah.
lay down, if you lay down within that hour time every single night consistently, then it's so much healthier for your
Yeah.
your system.
Yeah.
You have mentioned meditation, a silent meditation retreat, and I kind of want to know about that. So, how was that? Did you get like crazy downloads? I mean, what was the whole layout of that?
I went to this meditation retreat in Boone, North Carolina, and I went after I got fired in 2017. That was the first time I went to a meditation retreat. And I remember when I was trying to figure out where I was going to go, I was like, I was looking up all these places that I was like, Oprah went to and Deepak Chopra. I said, oh, that got to be the place. Like, I know I need to be where Oprah was at, right? And I'm looking at the place, and I call the place, the Deepak Chopra, Oprah, it's out in California. I call the place, and nobody could answer the questions that I had, right? They were like, oh, yeah, like, we don't know. And I was like, well, shit, I'm about to pay all this money, and y'all ain't got no answers, baby. Okay, well, I'll call y'all back, right? So I called this place in Boone, North Carolina. They answered the phone. I mean, they were just so chipper. They were just so amazing and I was like, oh, it was cheaper. It was in driving distance from Atlanta. And I said, okay, this is the place that I'm supposed to be at. And I go to the meditation retreat. You check in, and like the first 3 days, like 2 days or 3 days, you're like minimal talking,
Mhm.
right? You're like minimal talking. You're doing a lot of yoga, a lot of meditation, but it's minimal. And then on that third day, you go into full, complete silence. And I remember when I went into silence, officially went into silence, I was so angry. I was
Mhm.
so mad. I'm like, why did I do this? Like, why would I come up here to the mountains to get quiet? Like, what is wrong with me? And I've just, all these feelings and emotions just came flooding me. And I remember saying, I could just go home. Like, F this, I could just go home. Not many people know that I'm here. Like, my sister, my mama, like, they're the only ones that really know I'm here. I could go home. And I left out of the meditation because I had such this attitude. I was so angry. And I left out the meditation and I went back to the room And it was like the Holy Spirit was like, but you'll know you left. You'll
Ooh.
know.
Yeah.
You'll know you left. And I go to the dining hall for dinner, and the meditation instructor, he finds me. And there's only like 2 Black women in this whole facility. So of course, they like, hey, like, are you all right? So he comes up to me and he's like, now I'm in total silence. So I have a notepad that I'm using to talk to him. And he says, look, like, we want to make sure you're okay. Like, this process is for you. Like, whatever we can do to help you through this, we can. And he gave me a hug. And Elisabeth, I tell you, I guess I just needed a hug, child. Because when that man hugged me, it was like I just broke down crying in this man's arms. And he hugged me and he said, it's okay. You can do this. And it was like that assurance that I needed, that I was okay, that I was safe, that I could complete this, that I knew it was hard, and all these things, because people don't understand when you cannot use words and you are settled in with your feelings and you got to look at yourself in the mirror. Ain't nothing to turn on, ain't no news to watch, ain't no program to turn on, there's no podcast to listen to. It's just you. You get flooded with these feelings of what am I doing with my life? What is happening? What's going on? All these things. And all those things happen to me. But I get to the last day of the meditation and I found out why I was supposed to be there. Now I'm in the mountains, and so it's starting to snow a little bit because it's like October. So it's starting to snow. And I'm looking out, like literally it feels like heaven meets earth, right? I'm standing on this mountain and I go into the meditation, and it's the last meditation that we're doing before they are concluding the retreat. And we had to sit in this circle and you had to face another person. And when I face the other person, the meditation instructor is leading and she says, you are looking at the divine. If God showed up in this form, could you accept God? Could you accept yourself? You are looking at the divine.
Wow.
No matter the sexual orientation, no matter the gender, no matter the color, no matter the race, you are looking at the divine. If God showed up in this form, could you accept God? But could you accept yourself? And so I'm looking at the first person and, we're smiling, we hug each other. After, then you have to move to the next person. And the next person came to sit in front of me, and his name was Nippon. I will never forget this man's face. I will never forget his name, because as he sits in front of me, Elisabeth, he is weeping, he is crying. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I couldn't help but cry. And the meditation instructor is guiding us, and he says, you are looking at the divine. If God showed up in this form, could you accept God? Could you accept yourself? And I'm looking at this man and I'm staring at this man, and he is weeping, and I start to weep and I hug him. And in that moment, I knew exactly why I had come on that mountain. I knew exactly why I was there. I knew exactly why God had put me there. I knew exactly why I was sent there, because I had to understand that every time I look at myself, I am looking at the divine. Every time I look at you, I am looking at the divine. If God showed up in this form, see, because we have our own perceptions and we have our own hangups about who God is and what God looks like. And he a white man and he got a white beard and he's sitting up somewhere, sitting on this gold throne or whatever. No. God look like me. God looks like you. God looks like your mama. God look like your auntie. God look like your uncle and your cousin and them, right? If God showed up in this form, could you accept God? But could you accept yourself? And we did that one more time, and then they let us do a final meditation and all of those things. But I journaled, and that's how I, in my book, it's from the actual journal entry that I had on that mountain. And what I said in that moment of what I got, the download of when I was at this, is how can I not win? How can I not prosper? How can I not have everything that God has for me on this planet during my time of walking this earth? I am divine by my birthright. I came here on an assignment. It is my job to fulfill it. I am divine. I am perfectly made. Everything about me is just and righteous and anointed and loving and kind. Go forth, live that, be that. And that is what I got when I was on that mountain.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, that's deep, man. Deep. I always wanted to try like a silent retreat or something like that just to
Do
see
it. I
what
tell
it's like,
people, do it. Like,
girl.
just do it. You will not, it's no regret. It's
Yeah.
no regret. It's no
Yeah.
regret.
Well, I kind of had the same experience, but it wasn't necessarily the same at all, actually. I was at in Max in jail. So I was like by myself for like 5 days. So
Solitary,
I was
listen,
uh,
solitary, baby, I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
I
Can
probably
only
walked in
imagine.
about like 10,000 circles and I was like rapping though, so I wasn't silent. I was like rapping. I was like, I don't know, trying to pass the time. It was really hard. But I mean, that's what people don't understand really. It's like we are so sped up in our lives, especially in
Yeah,
America,
yeah,
that's why during the pandemic, everybody freaked out because for
yeah,
the first time ever, they had to sit with themselves, which they never do ever.
yeah.
So I think it's like
Mhm.
very important for people to start doing that just to see what comes up, you know? And it's so beautiful how you hugged that person and just started bawling, crying because you said you were angry, right, that day, and then you said you started
Before
weeping. And
that,
what is
yeah.
yeah,
So 2
yeah,
days before, I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm there. Why did I do this? But by the
uh-huh.
last day, by the 5th day, I'm hugging this man in a circle, understanding I'm looking at the divine. Yeah,
Yes. That's beautiful. It's huge. It's really, really
yeah,
huge. I mean, how
yeah.
have you taken that lesson and applied it to your life since then?
Ooh, so many times. So many times. I mean, hell, I had to do it over Thanksgiving with my family. Listen, you got to remind yourself you are looking at the divine. Like you're a part. This is a branch. Like I'm a
Mhm.
branch of this tree. I think it's all the times. It's every encounter that I've had. It's the relationships that I build. It's all the things. I mean, it's never not a moment. Like, yeah, I have moments where I get in myself, right? And I get in my feelings and it's about me and the ego, all the things take over and child, I'm 90 going north. Okay. Listen, acting like plumb fool, right? I have my moments, right? But then when I'm able to breathe and calm down and get quiet and sit by myself, I think that what it really taught me is that I have to have quiet time to recalibrate. I have to be able to get quiet, to recenter myself, to become one with the Father. The Bible says, I am one with the Father. But how did Jesus go become one with the Father? Every time he created a miracle, every time he performed a miracle, every time he did something extraordinary, right, in the world, what did he do? He went to the garden to be by himself. He went to be by himself to pray. He went to be by himself to meditate. And so it doesn't matter what your spiritual belief or practice is. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not. If you can find 20 minutes out of every single day, whether it's in your car, your garage, in your cubicle, at wherever, take 20 minutes to just sit and be still. The Bible says, be still and know that I am God. Like when we get quiet, we get to understand that we are right connected to the source. Be
Mhm.
still and know that I am God, that God is flowing through me. I am a direct conduit for his work, his goodness, his mercy. So I get to do that.
Mhm. So, what is your opinion then on people that don't act, let's say, appropriate in situations? Are they still divine?
Yeah, I think we're all just having the human experience, right? What's that saying? We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Yeah, like we're all gonna have moments where our emotions get the best of us. Every last one of us. We got moments when you about to have a tantrum. I'm gonna have a tantrum. I'm gonna act out. I'm gonna lash out. I'm gonna cuss some folks out. You know what I'm saying? But then there's like, how quickly can you let that pass?
Mhm.
How quickly can you move over it? How quickly can you get over the hump? Some people, they stay in it, they wallow in it, they throw themselves a pity party, they set up camp, they set up shop in the wallowing experience. I have just recognized that this too is like, it's like, a drop of rain on a pond. Like as quickly as it comes, as quickly as it goes. I just try to move it along a lot faster,
Mhm.
in this season of my life.
Yeah, yeah, I love that because it's important to feel everything, but move through those feelings and don't get stuck in that
Yeah,
mentality of being a victim, you know?
yeah, like it's a choice, right? And it's
Mhm.
like I get to choose again. So yeah, people hurt my feelings. I've done things that's hurt people's feelings. I've said things that have been hurtful or disrespectful. People have done the same thing to me, right? But I get to choose again. I don't have to stay here. I can be apologetic, I can be accountable, and I can say, "Hey, you know what? I was wrong. I know that what I said was not that was not cool.
Mhm.
I did not mean to offend you. I did not mean to blah blah blah, whatever it is that you need to say." I have been very good at holding myself accountable. And I think that most people, what happens is they don't want to be accountable for their actions. They
Yeah.
don't want to be accountable for the things that they've done. I just choose to be very accountable.
Yeah, that's important and shows your character. So a good thing. So you've built this huge media show, this Vault Empowers. And so through your interviews, is there one that stands out to you that is like, whoa, like holy crap, and then changed you? Like
I mean, it's been a few. I mean, your ex-husband came on my show and he changed the game for me.
mm,
And I think because of the conversation that we had, um, of course the thumbnail was one of those things that, gets people to like Christians have been believing in Satan. That's like, what the
mhm,
hell? Of course. But you know, I wanted people to know that I had range, that it was not one side to my coin, that there were many things that I'm interested in. There are many conversations that pique my interest and spark and ignite something in me. And having a conversation like that was actually really different for my platform at the time,
mhm,
because at the time, most of the people who came on my show were faith-based, right? So they were Christian pastors and gospel singers and people who had really built a brand around faith. Then it's also like ones like with people that I get to have, like with people who I've admired, right? Who have I admired? Dr. Joy DeGruy, for instance. Dr. Joy DeGruy wrote a book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And
mhm,
I found that book in 2015. It was the catalyst for what sent me into therapy. It
mm,
was the reason why, like, counselors and the work that I was doing at the foundation at the time was so important, because I found this work, a post-traumatic slave syndrome, of letting me know why were Black people so hyperly vigilant. What was bringing the anger? What was bringing the aggression? What was bringing some of the choices that we were making in our family dynamic, right? And I read this book, Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome, after seeing her do this viral lecture. It went viral all over on Facebook and YouTube. And I was like, man, if I ever get a chance to sit down with this woman, like, I got to tell her how much of an impact she's made on my life.
mm,
She came and did the show last year. One of our second highest rated shows, because one of her clips about the dark history of the Statue of Liberty did really, really well on YouTube. And it was just constantly cut and reclipped on so many different platforms. But when I get to sit and talk to people like Dr. Joy DeGruy, who have been so instrumental in my own growth and evolution as a human, walking the planet, of giving me language to why things were happening or why I was being confronted with certain things with people. She was like one of those people that when she said, when Nakia called me and said, Dr. Joy DeGruy wants to do the show, I said, I don't care what, I don't care when, baby, get her on, right?
yes.
And when I sat down with her, her husband came with her when she filmed the show, and he was like, I don't think anybody has known this much about her when she sat down to do. Like, I don't think anybody has, like, you know the story better than her. And so she was one of those people. And then I'll say this, Fawn Weaver. Fawn Weaver is the founder, CEO of Uncle Nearest, the Black-owned distillery company out of Shelbyville, Tennessee. I went to visit Uncle Nearest in 2021, the summer of 2021. And I did a tour, and this is when they first started doing tours. Me and my homegirls drove up from Atlanta to go to Tennessee, and we's like, this Black woman that started this Black-owned distillery, you know, about the story of Uncle Nearest and all the history behind it. We go and do a tour on a Sunday, and I'm sitting there on the porch at the distillery, sitting in this white rocking chair, and I'm looking out at this land, and I said, man, if I ever get a chance, I want to tell her story. I want to sit down with her. The very first year we were filming the show, she agreed to come and do the show. We went up to Shelbyville to film her at the distillery. It was like that moment, like that God wink moment of like, I know I'm on the right path. I know I'm doing the right thing, right? And that was something that was just so powerful. And then when she came back, when I'm trying to think of the book. Why can't I think of the name of her book? Oh, Love and Whiskey. I was gonna say, when she dropped Love and Whiskey, she came back and did the show, and she did the show in studio, and she's been on the show twice now. And you know, when she did the book tour in Atlanta, it was only 2 people that she shouted out in the audience in Atlanta. It was one of the like regional reps who sells Uncle Nearest across the region, and me, Brandi Harvey. And so, you know, those have been like those moments along the way of doing this show that say, you know, it's been a slow build. You know, of course, I'm not where I want to be, you know, but I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be, you know. So yeah, those have been those kind of moments that say, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, your show is amazing. You do such good like research on people. I thought you knew me better than me. I'm like, oh,
you know, Elizabeth, I think it's like I'm a former high school teacher, and I'm a former history teacher.
Yeah.
So I went to school. When I went to college, I was like, I'm gonna go to be a Black history teacher. That's what I wanted to do. And I'm like, I'm gonna kick the truth to the young Black youth, because if you remember the show Teen Summit that came on BET, that was their line, kick the truth to the young Black youth. And I said, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna kick the truth. And you know, I think the history, you know, teacher in me is, I love learning, I love researching, and I love like the fact that when you come to sit with me for an hour, you're blocking off 2 hours of time to come sit with me, right? That's for us to do our little pregame, us to do the interview, us to take pictures, do reads. You done blocked off 2 hours. Because time is our greatest commodity, right? It's the thing we can't never get back. Is to do my job means that I want you to know that I respect you so much. I respect your time so much. I respect my craft so much that I don't want you to come here and I'm asking you, so tell me how you got started. Baby, I already know how you got started. I'm here to dive deeper, right? I'm here to go a little bit deeper because I need you to know that I respect you. I've already read about you. I respect you. I already learned about you. I respect you. I honor your time. So because I honor your time, I want to make the most out of it. And so when people come and they sit with me, they be like, damn, you know me better than me. Dang, how you know that? Dang, how you know that? And I'm like, because I wanted you to know that this was a love when you came and sat across from me, that it was real love, that this ain't for play, it ain't for show. It was that I love this. And I love the fact that you would respect me and honor me enough to share your time with me. Let me show you how much I honor you.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Because you know what it is? It's a lot of people don't do what you do. So it's like, you know,
no, I know. Listen, I know. And because it's not easy, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy to sit down and now I got to go and, you know, take a couple hours out to go through and watch your videos and go through your Instagram a little bit, read your captions a little bit, you know, like you got a book. That means I got to read the book. You know, it's all those things that most people don't want to do. They just want to turn on the lights and the microphone and see, let's see what, shit sticks on the wall. I want you to have some structure and some we going somewhere with this when you come sit down,
Yes. Yes. No, I love it. I thought it was one of the best interviews that I've ever done. I was like, holy crap. That was like the questions. That's so good.
Listen, thank you. Listen, people say that to me all the time. Like, I mean, I have people who my very first interview, 2023, January 26, 2023, Lisa Price, who was the founder of Carol's Daughter, came and did my show. She was my first interview for Bought Powers that we were starting. We had done some other stuff before, but this was officially the start. And when she sat down with me, I could tell she was probably a little skeptical, okay, what's this girl about to do? What's she about to say? What kind of questions she about to ask me?
Uh-huh.
And at the end of it, she said, I have interviewed with some of the best. I've interviewed with Oprah. I've interviewed with B. Smith. She said, I have interviewed with just about some of everybody. And she said, I will tell you this, you are top 5. And I was like, this is my first one. Now this is me, Elisabeth. I got my legal pad with my notes on it. This is my first time doing the show like this. I take all my notes on the legal pad, right? So I'm sitting there with my legal pad down. Of course we done changed. Now I got tablets and all that kind of stuff. They like, Brandi, please don't have your notes just on the show, But so now they make me transfer everything to electronic because I'll be sitting here literally with legal pads. But when she did that, that moment, that first show, and she said, I've interviewed with Oprah, I've interviewed with B. Smith. And if anybody really knows Black history, B. Smith is that's the Black Martha Stewart. That's the original, right? That's the model, actress, talk show host, lifestyle brand, had home goods, cookbooks, all of that, right? So when I was a kid, seeing somebody like her, that was the GOAT. That was somebody who was doing it big, and for her to put me in the same category as a B. Smith and an Oprah, I was like, man, let me just keep going. I'm gonna just run on, as my mama saying, and see what the end gonna be,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it fits you well. I mean, whoa, you literally probably are the best that I've ever had. I think I called my assistants afterwards. I was like, no. Perfect question. It was smooth.
That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. So happy.
I appreciate it so much. So, okay, I want to shift gears a little bit. So I think we kind of both have the same type of passion. So I've done a lot of work within the inner city of Detroit, and I just see the disparity between a place like the inner city of Detroit and a place like Boca Raton, Florida, right? I mean, the difference of everything. So what do you feel is one of the biggest humps that we have to get over as society for women, people of color, women of color, especially? I mean, what do you think is the biggest leap that society has to take, we have to take?
Oh, there's so many. I think for women, I think it comes down to us trusting our gut. That second brain that we have, we all have it, right? The gut is the second brain. But when it's clogged up, when it's backed up, when it's, it ain't moving, it's hard for you to use and trust that intuition, that gut feeling, right? So the first thing I would say is women have to begin to trust that gut. But how do we do that? It goes with what goes in is what comes out. I think that when I look at women, especially in the Western world, especially in these United States of America, freedom is going to be found on our plate. Freedom is going to be found in the food that we eat. That's where our real freedom is going to be, because there is so much that is in the food that is hindering how we show up in the world. It is altering our brain chemistry. It is altering our hormones. It is altering our microbiome. It is altering everything about us, right? And I am a true advocate for food being medicine and how do we heal our lives. And I think that so many of us, and especially as Black women, as women of color, like we have got to get back to the earth. We have got to get back to nature. We have got to get back to our soil, our soul touching the soil, you know? And so those are things that I think, you know, in this season that will really help propel us forward. I recently spoke at Princeton at the Faith and Food Workshop, and I'm going to be attending Princeton University, doing a program in theology and ecology at the university. And that is such a passion of mine because I think there's so much, you know, that we can learn from scripture, but there's also so much that we can learn from the soil and the earth and how, you know, these life and death cycles and how food and how nature have given us so much if we tap into it. And so one of those things though is definitely food being freedom in this season. We are overweight, but we are malnourished. You know, we are literally full of shit, you know, because we are backed up, we are stocked up, we are clogged up, things are not moving, and so we can't even make healthy decisions because we, you know, our guts are full, you know. And so one of the things I think can really catapult us to the next level is that freedom being found on that plate. You know, I think we talk so much about generational wealth and how we going to leave a house and how much money we going to leave our kids, but are we going to be able to leave our kids generational fitness? Are we going to be able to leave them generational wellness? Right. And so that's, I think, you know, in this season of my life, I'm a big advocate for that. I executive produced a documentary called Sisters Getting Well with my partner, Reverend Jacqueline Glass, and it chronicles her story of chronic disease, her family's chronic disease, but Black women in the United States. And when we look at the numbers, right, by the year 2050, 40% of African Americans will no longer be here due to chronic disease. 40% of African Americans will no longer be here by the year 2050 due to chronic disease. If we don't look at this as a wake-up call to get healthy, if we are not looking at this as to say, wait a minute, let me make some better choices about what I'm putting into my body, into my mouth, you know, I think we would see our lives really change, you know. And so I'm a proponent of, you know, eating from the earth, whole foods, you know. And so I think if we start to do stuff like that, we will see our lives change in a drastic way.
Yeah, I think it's so important. I mean, I always talk about mind, body, soul, and you have to address all three if you really want to be in
Yeah,
super connection with your intuition, with the divine source, God,
yeah,
universe, you know?
yeah,
So definitely with food. So what about, you know, the conditions of where you are at, you know, like for instance, like I was saying, like Detroit, Boca Raton. I mean, it's two completely separate places with completely separate infrastructures. I mean, Detroit, you still have lead-based paint, asbestos, you know,
yeah.
the Flint water crisis. It was happening in Detroit too, but it was getting swept under the rug. So, I mean, in those conditions, what do you suggest for the people that are there, like in these cities that are just full of toxicity and unfairness? How do you, you know, tell a person that's living there, like, what should they do?
I mean, it's interesting. You know, I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I was just there for the holiday. And Cleveland is a very hard city, right? It's a very hard city to grow up in. It's a very hard city to live in. It's cold. Shit, I see why have people overweight, you know, and the city is built around the freaking Cleveland Clinic, right? So the city is built around the hospital, you know. I mean, when you drive to the city, Cleveland Clinic owns so much prime real estate, right? And so when I look at cities like that, I think the first thing that you have to do is how do you begin to change your mind, right? Because you may not have the money, right? It's like people in prison, right? You've been in jail. You already know you may not be able to get out, but you can escape somewhere by your mind, right? There's so many walls that you can knock down by using your mind. And so I think the first thing that I would tell people to do is start to change your mindset. Start to read books that are going to help you expand your way of living and thinking. You know, there have been so many books that I have had along my journey that have helped to shift the way I think, shift the way I believe. And that didn't require me to have no more than $10 in my pocket to do it, right?
Mhm.
That didn't
Mhm.
require anything extra of me. It just required me to sit down, get quiet, take the time, and where can I take my mind today? How can I
Mhm.
expand my way of thinking and believing? I think that's the first thing you have to do. So before, yeah, you can might not be able to get to the food because we looking at food justice, injustice, food deserts, right? So you may not be able to have the healthy food options readily available to you right now. You might not have blueberries that you can go get right now, right? But you got something that you can tap to on this phone. You got something that you can go say, let me go listen to something. Let me go listen to the Unlimited podcast today, and let me go shift my mind to another place. I know everything around me is crumbling. Everything around me looks bleak. But baby, what's in between here can take me to a whole nother stratosphere. What's in between here gets me to see another galaxy. What's in here gets to take me to another dimension. And I think that people fail. They're so looking for somebody else to save them. I tell people all the time, baby, put the S on your chest. Put your cape on. There is nobody coming. Everything that you have inside of you is everything you need. Strap up. It's time to go to work.
Yes, mic drop. That was so good. Yes, yes, all of that right there. You're so right, though. It's so true. Your mind is it's such a powerful thing. Do you know that they did a study with these guys, and these guys they worked out right every single day, but then this other group of guys didn't work out and just meditated in their minds about working out, and they both grew muscle fibers. Like
Yeah.
your mind is so freaking strong. So I love that you say that. Like start with the mind. I mean, and everybody has access to mind
I
stuff.
mean, you already know. I mean, you are already Dr. Amen. You're in the course. You doing the work to know all the things about neuroscience and quantum physics and how we can leap into other dimensions and how we can heal ourselves. Like it's the power of the mind. I mean, and people, even when they look at the teachings of Christ never, it wasn't about him laying hands, doing no magic tricks like people think. It's like when the woman came to him and she in the bed and she laying down, he said, pick up your bed and go home. By your faith, you are healed. Yo, is what do I believe about myself, about my circumstances? Pick up your bed, go back to your house, and get busy. It is nobody's coming. Ain't nobody gotta come. There's no trumpet that's gonna sound. There's nobody that gotta come shake, rattle, and roll at your house. You're gonna have to say, I am going to choose again. I get to choose again. Make another choice. We
Yes.
get the point. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so good. It's so good at any second, at any moment in time. This is what I've learned pretty recently, actually, because I was like, oh, you got to do all the healing work and you got to do all
Yeah.
the things. I mean, I think that it helps with some certain things, but at the same time, if you're able to shift your mindset that quickly and fully believe it in every single cell of your body, then boom, you can have miraculous things happen in your life. I mean, you can miraculously
Yeah.
heal cancer like that. It's like our minds are the most powerful thing that we have.
Yes.
We don't use it enough.
It's like Dr. Joe Dispenza. I mean, when I heard him speak at a retreat a few years ago, I went and bought all the books, right?
Yeah.
When I heard him speak, and talked about, the power to heal yourself, the power to heal your life, your body. And I think it's just so many people who are just waiting for somebody or something for there to be the shift, but the shift is only going to happen within you.
Yeah. Yeah. 1000%. So, Brandi, I like to leave my guests with like 3 gems that they can take away and, really apply to their life that will help them to expand, optimize, get more present,
Yeah.
peaceful, anything. 3 gems.
3 gems. I'm gonna leave you with the 3 that I leave my audience with every single week. Eat well,
Yes.
give a damn, move your body every single day. It's the 3 I live by. Eat well. It's the food you eat, the how you feed your mind, your body, your spirit. Eat well, give a damn. How do you show up in the world? How do you treat yourself? How do you treat others? Are you kind? Are you loving? Are you receptive to it all? Give a damn. And move your body every single day. I mean,
Yeah.
them my three.
Uh-huh. Honestly, I mean, if people really follow that, hey, like their lives will completely shift.
Yeah, because it's somebody who gonna be like, she gotta be cussing, and she got some of y'all need to get cussed out. That's the problem. The other part of this is if you stuck on giving a damn, you already hustling backwards. Like if you stuck on that, if that's the thing that got you, oh, I can't, then you already hustling backwards. This ain't even for you. You not even the person I'm talking to, because you stuck somewhere I can't even get you out. So it don't even matter. But if you eat well, if you give a damn, you move your body, man, imagine how your life gonna take off.
For real.
Yeah.
For freaking real. Brandi, it has been such an honor. You are so full of wisdom and just, I mean, what you like, integrity and authenticity. I just love engaging with women like you, because it's people like you, women like you, that will help other women to step into their own power and start, listening to their intuition and getting back in touch with themselves again. And I think that's really what the world needs at this point. So thank you so much for all the work that you do, and for all the knowledge that you spread, and for spending this last hour with me, Brandi. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Thank you. It has been my honor and pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, this was another amazing episode of Unlimited with Elisabeth Carson and Brandi Harvey. Until next time. Peace, guys. Peace.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and don't necessarily reflect those of the producers or affiliates. We do not guarantee the accuracy of the content. Please verify information and seek professional advice when needed. By listening, you agree not to hold us liable for any actions taken based on this content. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you enjoy the episodes ahead. Love unlimited, feel unlimited.
Before we wrap, if you're done living in loop mode, the addictions, the emotional swings, the stuck seasons, start with a tool that actually shifts your state. Go to unlimitedmeditationpack.com and download the free pack I created. It's 5 targeted meditations with theta entrainment frequencies that drop you into the zone where real subconscious reprogramming happens. These sessions calm your system, clear the old patterns, and open you up to better health, better connections, more clarity, and a life that finally moves. Start there. unlimitedmeditationpack.com.